Hi, hello everyone. My name is Kevin Tupriti, and in this video, I'm going to explain how the rhetorical concepts are connected, specifically based on the CWC I chose last week, which is problem solving. This is the plan we are going to follow: the main idea, the purpose, the audience, the rhetorical appeal, and text. First of all, the main idea. The main idea is what the author is mainly focuses on in the text, is what the author is describing in the text. I read several texts last week and I'm going to choose a few examples of them to explain that clearly. The first one is the courage of being creative. In this text, the the author is trying to tell scholar system that the way they are trying to make children to be creative is not going to help the children in the future. So the this is the main idea. The author was focused on that, and he think they need to change that way. For example, the other one is, do schools kill creativity? This one was a video, and the main idea is creativity needs to be matched with the field people identify themselves in. The author thinks that people should not feel constraints or forced to be creative in a specific field. They need to feel free to explore and to be creative in the field they feel like they are interested in. The next one is the purpose. The purpose is the reason the author is writing a text, the reason the author is making a video. For example, um, the danger of a single story. This text, it was a lady who was explaining her situation from Africa. But this text was to inform. To inform that means to teach people. There's several purposes an author can use to write a text. Is to convince people on a subject. To inform is to educate people about something, and to entertain. To entertain is to make people happy, to make people relax. So this video, the danger of a single story, in it, the author is trying to inform people you have to look at other sources before to make a judgment. Before to even say something is true or not, you have to do your own research. You have to to read other stories about the same subject, because when each time you're listening about something, it becomes true. But in reality, that doesn't mean it's the truth. And the third one is the audience. The audience is the people who the author is addressing in his text or in the video. For example, and and the critical thinking is about asking better questions. In this text, we can see clearly the author is talking about people who would like to improve their critical thinking skills, because critical thinking is not rushing to ask questions, but it is an effective way to think and to ask good questions. So people, the audience in this text is anyone who would like to improve their skills or the critical thinking skills. And other example could be, those schools kills creativity. In this video, the author is trying to talking to scholar system to let the children express themselves in the field they're interested to. So the audience is the people the author is addressing to. Now we are going to talk about the rhetorical appeal. The rhetorical appeal is really important. It's really interesting because the author is going to use one of them in any text to convince the reader. For example, there are three of them. There are There is ethos, pathos, and logos. We're gonna see what each of them means. Let's take an example about the courage to be creative is ethos. And this one, the author is trying to use facts, or is trying to convince the people to make his text credible. He's trying to use facts or ideas or sources that can make his text credible. For example, in this text, they said that at the beginning the author has a degree in education. So if someone has a degree in education and is talking about a subject in education, you will trust this person. While if another person who is not who does have a degree in education is talking about a subject in education, you're not gonna trust this person at all. So in this text, we can see the author use ethos. Another example we can use is discourse kill creativity. Pathos. In this text, we can see the authors relate different stories to connect to the audience. In pathos, the authors is trying to connect to the audience. In logos, the text is well structured so that it can convince people to believe in it. And in ethos, the author is trying to make his text credible. So the last one is shams and tropes. Text. Text is the artful part of a text. Is the one the author used to make his text interesting to read. For example, we have shams and tropes. Example of shams is anaphora and parallelism. Anaphora is a repetition of rather than on page 3. Is when you are making a repetition about something, about a word to emphasize something. Parallelism is when the author is trying to make a comparison of two situations of two things. Tropes is when the author uses a metaphor. For example, the brain as a machine, how our brain is not a machine, it's not an engine. But the author is trying to compare our brain as an engine. And similarly is when you just use as or like in a text or in a word. So thank you so much. I hope guys you enjoyed this video and you understand the topics being discussed in it. Thank you so much. Bye.